I think it's going to be a great sign for you when it comes to borrowing. Hey everyone, it's Ryder from Skip. Perhaps the biggest economic report of the year has come out today. It's the latest inflation report. There's already been some major changes as a result of this, including the S&P 500 reaching its highest level in nearly 2 years today as a result of this report, and its potential impact on interest rates that will affect the entire U.S. economy and all small business owners and entrepreneurs. In this quick video, I'm going to talk about 3 things. Number 1, the inflation report as it came out today, what you should know about it. Number 2, the timing of lowering the Fed interest rates based on new information. And number 3 things you should be thinking about today to prepare for lowering interest rates. You can start planning for some of these things today. Be sure to watch until the end. As always, thanks so much for subscribing, turning on alerts so you never miss out on anything funding, business, or economic related, especially major things that will affect you. If you haven't been on the Skip dashboard in a while, there's new grants, new fundings, including a couple grants due this week. Our $10,000 grant is due in a few days. Link in the description or search Skip in the App Store. Here's the report that came out today. Inflation holds roughly steady ahead of the Fed meeting. The Fed is meeting this week to talk about interest rates, in part based on this data. So here is how the inflation report has looked over the past almost 60 years. And you can see how it's gone down. It's basically at the lowest level it's been since the spike in 2020. As a result of this report, the Federal Reserve is on track to leave interest rates unchanged in their meeting this week. Investors expect central bankers to begin lowering borrowing costs within the first half of 2024. I'll share more data on that in a second. After taking out food and fuel to look at core inflation rose 4% with compared to a year earlier. That pace remains well above the roughly 2% pace we've seen prior to the pandemic. Here are some of the monthly changes. Used car and trucks up 1.6%, electricity up 1.4%, compared to all items excluding food and energy, overall up 0.3%, all items up 0.1%, and you can see apparel, fuel, oil, and gasoline has all gone down. In fact, gas prices are falling fast, helping tame inflation. The national average for unleaded gas was $3.14 a gallon on December 12th. So this is good news that the high interest rates have been helping bring down inflation. Plus, we've seen in a few recent labor reports, the labor demand we've been seeing has cooled. A cooling labor market would also point to the Fed that they should lower interest rates. So when will interest rates go down, and what will this mean for you? Investors think that borrowing costs could come down as soon as the first half of 2024 based on market expectations, though continued economic momentum or stubborn prices could delay that. Basically, every month the inflation report comes out. Every quarter, the Fed is meeting to discuss interest rates. Here's how rates have increased since February 2022, when they're basically zero. They've gone up to above 5%, and you can see they've basically become flat over the past few months. Question is, will this start to go down in March, April, May, June? Well, many people think it's going to be in that second quarter of 2024. In fact, based on a survey from CNBC, folks think that by this time next year, the Fed interest rate will be down nearly a percentage point to 4.5%. And by December 2025 down to 3.7%. So it may lower, but it probably won't lower as quick as it did in 2020 or as quick as we might want. One quote is this: "I still believe Jerome Powell has the memories of the 1970s in his mind and will be more stubborn in keeping monetary policy tight for longer than the markets want him to be." In this survey, there's also discussion about will there be a recession going into 2024 or a soft landing. More people now, because of this data that's been coming out over the past several months and year, think we will have a soft landing. 47% of people think that, as opposed to the 42% who thought we would be in for a soft landing back in October. And those that think we may go into a recession has declined from 49% in October down to 41%. personally, I think rates will begin to go down by the second quarter of next year. Even if it's a little bit, I still think that would be a great sign for individuals. Yes, housing prices may still be high, but at least mortgage rates will come down for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Nearly all of you watching, I think it's going to be a great sign for you when it comes to borrowing and for your business in general. Of course, we're going to continue to watch this on a weekly and monthly basis, any changes in the macroeconomy and how it will affect you. Until then, here are 3 things you may want to keep in mind. Number 1, managing your cash flow wisely. With inflation holding steady, it's important for you to manage your cash flow efficiently. This involves budgeting carefully, keeping an eye on expenses, and most importantly, ensuring prices are set at a level that covers costs and remains competitive. Number 2, capitalizing on lower borrowing costs. The prediction that the Fed will lower interest rates by mid-2024 indicates an upcoming period where borrowing costs may decrease. If you're considering taking out loans for expansion or for working capital, you can start planning for that now and use some of the resources on Skip, for example. Get a free business plan when you become a Skip Plus member, a business plan you will probably need in order to apply for financing or loans, or getting a business website, or improving your personal credit score. And the third thing you may want to start thinking about, especially with this S&P 500 news today, that's an indication of investor confidence in the market. This could be a good time for small businesses to consider investments in growth or diversification, whether it's expanding product lines, entering new markets, or investing in marketing. Don't overextend, but keep that in mind, knowing that this is potentially a great economic signal. Would love to hear what you think about this. Are there things that you want to do between now and the middle of next year to prepare yourself for lowering interest rates? Or do you think interest rates, in fact, won't go down? Let me know in the comments. Most importantly, stay well, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.